Gun live stream. Today is Saturday, October 18th, 2025. And as usual, we'll give it a minute for people to join. All right, we'll give it another minute or two, and then we'll get started. I did start it a little earlier. We normally do start at 12 o'clock. And people are starting to trickle in now, so I'll give it another minute or so. And who do we have out there? I did start adding some moderators last week because we do get a couple immature people every now and then, and I can't catch them all. So the moderators are empowered to just boot anybody off the chat. All right, we have enough people now to get started. So the first thing I want to talk about is the gun ban in California, Glock specifically. So Governor Newsom signed a bill the other day, and effective January 1st, 2026, you will no longer be able to purchase Glocks or Glock clones in California. And hello, Christopher, welcome. And Caden, welcome to you too. All right, so what does that mean? Well, I'm hoping that somebody stops this nonsense. And hello, John, thank you for joining. I don't know how Governor Newsom on his own got to sign a bill banning Glocks and Glock clones effective January 1st, 2026. That also would include the PSA Dagger and the Ruger RXM. And the logic that they used is because the Glock allows people to add a Glock switch to it, making it fully auto. So, with that being said, it just seems that it's a little moronic because Glock switches are already illegal on a federal level. So you're going to ban a gun because something that's already illegal could be installed on your gun, making it illegal. I just don't get it. I mean, first of all, the approved list of firearms in the state of California is a very, very short list. In order to have your firearm listed on the DOJ approved list, gun manufacturers have to jump through hoops. And a lot of the gun manufacturers just said, nope, we're not going to do it. We just won't sell guns in California. But the logic is just idiotic. First of all, with the right tools, any gun could be modified. And to ban Glocks because somebody could install a Glock switch on it is not Glock's fault. I mean, why don't they just ban Burger King and McDonald's for making people fat? All right, and we'll give a shout out to Dixon Mays. Happy birthday. And it's the same thing with automakers. Every vehicle that is produced can exceed the speed limit. So they're selling vehicles that enable people to break the law, and that's okay. But that's just ridiculous. And it's not going to stop at the Glocks, because next they're going to come after the AR-15s. It's actually easier to modify an AR-15 than it is to modify a Glock. So, but the problem is, it's not going to just end with Glock. They're going to just start going through every firearm in California and just start knocking them off the list. Now, New Jersey also jumped on the bandwagon, and so did Minnesota. So this is going to be very interesting. And hello, Ted. Sorry I missed you there, brother. Like I say, these comments scroll by very quickly. So if I don't catch you right away or I don't see your comments, it's not intentional. I also now have a few moderators to help police the children that for some reason are compelled to join a pro-gun live stream when they have no interest in guns and their whole point is just to be a jackass. But we will wind up booting them out. As a matter of fact, I will be booting another one right now. I also learned today that Beretta has just purchased 9% of Ruger. And that's going to be very interesting to see whether that eventually becomes a hostile takeover or a perfect marriage with the two companies making great products. So I'm interested in how that's going to play out. I was at my local Smoky Mountain Guns and Ammo this morning, and I wasn't really looking for a gun, but they had a Taurus GX2 in purple, which is my wife's favorite color, for $235. So I couldn't resist it at that price. So John Hedden, where I got that news from, I am very active with the NRA and Gun Owners of America. Gun Owners of America has that info, so does the NRA, and that's why I tell you people, you need to be more up to date on gun laws. People just, these idiotic things like they did in California. If you just sit back and do nothing, eventually you're going to lose your gun rights and you forfeit your right to bitch because you did nothing about it. I constantly check the gun news at Gun Owners of America, NRA, etc. Encounter, hello to you. And thanks for your comment there, Alex. Taurus is a good quality gun, and for $230, it's really tough to beat. I feel for you there, Music. I don't know why anybody would live in California. I mean, you, it's almost impossible to purchase a gun in California as it is. And now that they're going to, you know, ban Glocks and Glock clones effective January 1st. If I lived in California, man, I'd be running to the gun stores buying up all my Glocks now. And it's not going to end just at the Glock, right? It's any Glock clone. So um, you won't be able to buy the Ruger RXM or a PSA Dagger or Bear Creek Grizzly, etc. Um, it's just unbelievable what they do. And hello to AB222. Good to see you back again. But I agree with you, Ted. This is not going to end just with Glock. They're going to go down the list and they're going to start going after every firearm and taking them all off the list. And I'm telling you, the AR-15s are next because they're even easier to modify than the Glock is. And all these liberal states are starting to do this, right? New Jersey jumped on the bandwagon. Matter of fact, New Jersey filed a lawsuit against Glock 2 weeks ago saying that Glock knowingly produced a firearm that they knew would be easy to modify. And Glock asked for them to dismiss the case, and the federal judge said no, and they're allowing the lawsuit to continue. So, being that I'm originally from the communist state of New Jersey, I'm interested to see how that's going to play out there. Yeah, I'm pretty sure the AR and the AK will be banned next year in Rhode Island. I agree with you there, Music. The problem is that the liberals, they don't read the Constitution, right? It is called the Bill of Rights, not the Bill of Needs. It's got nothing to do with hunting. It's got nothing to do with whether I need a pistol or an AR-15. It's a right, and it's not their right to take away from me. And you know, they keep changing the Second Amendment or chipping away at it. And this is the whole reason the Second Amendment was created in the first place, because our founding fathers knew that we do have a tyrannical government. And, you know, they know what happens in an unarmed society. And this is why I strongly urge you to support the NRA or Gun Owners of America or Tennessee Firearms Association. There's so many of them out there that goes out and files these lawsuits to help protect our Second Amendment rights. Even if you live in a friendly gun state like we do here in Tennessee, don't take it for granted. I mean, one election could change everything. And Kevin, I agree with you about voting Republican. The problem is that there are so many liberals. I mean, we don't even have control, really. And all the liberal states are going to continue to do what they want to do. And hello, Joseph DeAngelis. Thank you for joining. For those that are new to this stream, I'm glad you found us. We do this every Saturday at 12 noon Eastern till 1 o'clock. And last week, because of popular demand, I was asked if we could also do it midweek. And we started it on Wednesday. So we will also now do this live stream on Wednesdays at 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern. If you want to support our channel, you can purchase super chat stickers. Anything helps. we are a small channel, and it costs a lot to keep this going. And we're here because of you guys. I mean, it's the support from you guys is what allows us to stay on the air. So I thank you all for that. I think we're about 100 and change subscribers away from 7,000, which is really huge. The goal is to get 10,000 by the end of the year. So what we're going to do is like we normally do. I talk about some of the gun news first, and then we open it up to discussion. As long as it is firearm related, that's one thing. And I agree with you there, Joseph and Richard. And even arguments, I don't care if we have arguments here. Arguments are good as long as they're respectful and they don't start getting personal and nasty. That's fine. Actually, sometimes arguments bring up great conversation. And the whole point of this is that we get to share our views and opinions, and there may be a firearm or a product that you tried and you liked or didn't like that you may want to share with others. So we'll open it up now. And I'm curious how many people actually carry every day, and how many people open carry. So no Glocks, but other pistols like the MP Shield. Well, see, this is the problem there, AB 222. They're going after the Glocks first, right? But I don't trust the liberals, and today it's the Glock, tomorrow it may be the Smith & Wesson, and then the Springfield. It's not going to stop there. But anyway, so I'm curious about how many people open carry, because it amazes me when I go through some of the gun forums. The people that open carry are so opinionated. I mean, we're supposed to be a community that sticks together, and the people that open carry have this mindset that they think that, it's either open carry or you're wrong. Well, there is no right or wrong. You do what's comfortable for you, and you do what, you have to take your environment into consideration, right? I mean, I live in the great state of Tennessee. I open carry most of the time, but if I'm in a shithole like Memphis, I don't open carry. If I'm in Knoxville or Nashville, I don't open carry. But when I'm in the rural areas, I open carry all the time. I don't see any problem with it. And I never tell anybody you should only open carry. Just like somebody that chooses to conceal carry shouldn't be telling me that I shouldn't open carry. And they all regurgitate the same bullshit. First of all, if you read every gun forum, everybody keeps spewing the same nonsense all the time about, well, if you open carry, it makes you a target. I've been open carrying for years, and I've never been a target. And I'm a data guy by trade. There has been no data that suggests that people are getting killed with their own guns because they're open carrying and somebody took their gun away. And there's no data that suggests that people that open carry are targets. If people are going into a store with the intention of doing a mass shooting, They're not going in there looking for armed people because they're cowards. They don't want to confront an armed individual. They just go in there and start blasting. Their intention's not to find how many people are armed. Buckeye for life, I think you're going to go away. And I appreciate your help there, John. Again, we do get a bunch of wise asses out here that think they're going to ruin it for everybody, but we do have moderators, and you are going to go away. So, not going to let a few individuals ruin it for everybody else. But anyway, on that note, you just need to use common sense. Now, when I'm at work, I conceal, and I make sure that I'm really concealed because I don't want anybody at work to know. And I'm allowed to carry at work, but I just don't want anybody to know about it. If I'm in an unfamiliar area, I may conceal carry. So it's all about situational awareness, and I think that you should do both. If you're in a rural area and a familiar area and you want to open carry, fine. And you got to just use common sense. And again, depending on the state. I live in the great state of Tennessee, and Tennessee, nobody looks at you goofy. You may be in another state and you open carry and people start getting concerned or getting nervous. You have to take all of that into consideration. So, for those who just joined us today, again, thank you. We get more and more new people every week. And if you haven't done so, please subscribe to our channel. Watch our videos. I have almost 750 videos. Share the channel and the videos with your friends. Like them, leave comments. The more people watch our videos, the more revenue we generate. So, to answer your question, John, I know you're from the communist state of New Germany. I used to live there too. So here's the deal. If you travel to a state that is a constitutional carry, such as Tennessee, you don't need anything. You can come here from New Jersey and carry. But what I would recommend, thank you, Tail Grease, for subscribing. I appreciate that. Joseph, thank you too, brother. But anyway, John, what I would recommend you do is get a Utah non-resident permit. A Utah non-resident permit, you can go to, Gun for Hire or any gun range in New Jersey that offers classes, and get your Utah non-resident permit, which will allow you to carry in a lot of other states. Utah is very easy to get. I went to the bullet hole, and I think the class was like an hour. It doesn't even require live fire training. And also, I believe Florida and Arizona, because I have them, you can get the Florida and Arizona non-resident license without even, you can do it by mail. But I would highly recommend getting Utah because Utah gives you like 38 states. To answer your question again, John, that's also a great question. And I thank you for asking that because a lot of people don't consider that. When you're traveling from the communist state of New Jersey or any other state, you need to follow the gun laws of the state you're going to. Some states require that the guns and ammo have to be separate. So if that's the case, you need to do that. So that's what it comes down to. You just need to be familiar with the gun laws in the states that you're going to. Pretty much once you get out of the New Jersey area and you get past Maryland, once you get to Virginia, you can keep your firearm in the glove compartment. Also, you don't need a permit to carry in Tennessee. So any non-resident can carry in the state of Tennessee, open or concealed. And in Tennessee, we're not even required to notify law enforcement. Yes, New Hampshire is the opposite. New Hampshire also has a non-resident permit, but that's pretty much it up north. And I know Vermont doesn't even issue permits. Anybody can carry in Vermont. But that's a great question to ask, John. When we were living in New Jersey, my wife and I decided to go to the range one day. I think it was Columbus Day, and all the ranges in New Jersey were closed. So we decided to go to a gun range in Suffern, New York. And we got to the gun range, we walked inside, and we had our pistols in our cases. And the guy at the gun range said, "Is that your car out there with the New Jersey license plates?" And we said, "Yeah." And he said, "I would go back in your car and get out of here as soon as possible. We have state troopers that are shooting in here, and in New York State, it is a felony to transport a firearm over the state line." I didn't know that, so we got out of there as quick as possible. And this is why we need to fight for H.R. Bill 38 to make federal reciprocity, because each state making up their own stupid ass gun laws is just ridiculous. Your right to be safe and your right to bear arms shouldn't end at your doorstep or at the state line. And this is why we need federal reciprocity. It's got to be on the federal level, because every liberal state is not going to allow it. And even if on the federal level, they introduced reciprocity, the liberal states are still not going to go for it. They're going to still deny you, knowing that it's going to go to the courts and tie it up for years and years. Hawaii's got lawsuits going. I mean, it never ends. AB 222, that's a great point about the suppressors. I don't think the suppressors should be regulated, because that should fall under the Hearing Protection Act. The whole point of the suppressors is, to help protect your ears. So for the federal government to, the only thing they did, and people call it a win, it wasn't really a win. All they did was remove the tax stamp. You still need to fill out the ATF form. So doing away with the $200 tax, that's not a win. You still have to go to the ATF and fill out forms. So that's just ridiculous. But, we support the NRA and Gun Owners of America. We donate to them. We fight with them. And we try as much as we can to fight for our Second Amendment rights, because, like I said, don't get complacent in a gun-friendly state. one mass shooting or an election could change everything. Reach out to your representatives. I constantly check my states and the surrounding states' gun laws and what gun bills are going to be introduced, because Tennessee borders on 8 states, and we ride a motorcycle. We constantly go to, Georgia and Kentucky and North Carolina and Alabama. So we need to make sure that we know what the gun laws are in those states. But anyway, this whole thing about, California banning Glocks and Glock clones effective January 1st, 2026. I'm really hoping that the NRA and Gun Owners of America filing lawsuits get that thing shot down, because there is no way in hell that a court could say that is not unconstitutional. You can't just randomly pick a Glock and a Glock clone based on the fact that a criminal is going to use a device that's already illegal to put it on their guns. You can't hold Glock liable for that. Yeah, I agree with that too, AB 222. When we were in New Jersey, we used to have a 15-round limit. And then with the swipe of a pen in the middle of the night, Governor Free Stuff Murphy, with the swipe of a pen, made anything over 10 rounds high capacity. And I just don't understand, if you're deemed competent to own and carry a firearm, then there should not be any restriction on how many rounds you can carry, right? I mean, to arbitrarily say anything over 10 rounds is high capacity, what they're basically doing is picking a number out of their ass and saying 10 casualties is acceptable. It just doesn't make any sense. If you pass a background check and you're deemed competent, there shouldn't be any limit. Well, here, yeah, and you know what, AB 222, you have a great point there. An AR-15, standard issue magazine for an AR-15 is 30 rounds. That's not high capacity. That is the standard issue magazine for an AR-15. Exactly, Tailgrease. That's exactly what I just said. 30 rounds is standard capacity. And then you have states like California and New Germany making up these stupid-ass laws saying anything over 10 rounds is high capacity. No, it's standard capacity, not high. They make up terms like high capacity, just like they make up terms like, assault rifles. There's no such thing as assault rifles. The liberals made that up. I mean, the AR stands for Armalite Rifle, and the liberals call it assault rifle. They really think that an arms manufacturer is going to call their firearms assault rifles? That's just stupid. And Margaret Hall, welcome. Good to see you again. And I thank you all again for joining us, especially the new people. Desert Armory and more, hello to you. Every week we get more and more people, which is awesome. When we first started out, I used to get maybe 10, 20, and now we're averaging 3,000. So this is great. And because last week people asked about midweek, because Saturday doesn't work for everyone, we decided that we would do one every Wednesday evening at 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern, in addition to the 12 o'clock noon Saturday. So we'll be doing that as well. And Derek Graham, welcome. And I see some familiar faces and a lot of new ones, and that's great. That means more and more people are finding us. For those that are new to the stream, this is nothing formal. I do this for you guys, and this is how we get to share information with each other, ask questions, and somebody will answer. You may have a good or bad experience with a firearm or an accessory. Yes, it's Saturday at 12 noon, not 12 a.m., 12 noon Eastern till 1 o'clock. And Wednesday, 8 o'clock p.m. till 9 o'clock p.m. Tail grease, my favorite firearm. That's a tough question because I have a lot of them. I would probably say right now, my favorite firearm is my new Springfield Emissary 1911. Now, I have a lot of them, but that's my favorite right now. Well, you know what, Crown Waller? This is another thing. See, the liberals make up shit, and people believe it, okay? Now, the liberals lead you to believe that AR-15s are fully automatic, and that is absolutely not true. A civilian cannot purchase a fully automatic weapon, but the liberals use these tactics to scare people. And they're simply not true. And the ignorant people that don't know better, maybe they don't own a gun, they just listen to all of the stupid shit the liberals say. And tail grease. No, I have not tried a 2011 yet. And there's a couple reasons for that. I'm old school, and in my brain, when I hear 1911, I'm thinking 45 ACP, hence Pro Gun 45. And to me, I know there's a lot of 9mm fans, but a 1911 and 9mm to me is sacrilegious. You know, I know Staccato makes a great 2011, but it's 9mm. I'm just not a fan of 2011s. I'm old school. There's a reason that the 1911s are still here, but that's just my opinion. I'm not saying the 2011s are bad. And to answer your question, AB 222, some 45 ACPs can, let's say this, some 1911s can be picky with ammo, and they can jam, but they're made for ball ammo. So a lot of them don't like hollow points, number one. But what I found from experience, I've been shooting 1911s for 40 years, right? And what I have found is it's normally the magazines, not the gun. And believe it or not, I had a Kimber Custom 2, and that thing jammed every other round. And I switched over to a Wilson Combat magazine, and problem went away. You know, there's also a break-in period, about 500 rounds. So if you get a 1911 that's brand new, prior to 500 rounds, you may get some hang-ups, but if you shoot the 230 grain ball ammo, that's not going to jam on you. Trust me. Tail grease. I agree. I am old school, and I prefer hammer fired. But I don't know, 10 years ago, if you would ask me if I would ever buy a striker fired gun, I would have probably said no. But there's nothing wrong with striker fired guns. I own a lot of them now. I prefer hammer fired, but there's a lot of guns that just don't make hammer fired guns. Won't stop me from buying them. I just prefer them because I'm old school. And the Security 9 is also a good gun, Miguel. Another thing, tail grease, I'm also big on iron sights. You need to learn how to shoot with iron sights. An optic is something that can fail, that can break, the battery can die, and you better know how to shoot with iron sights. And a lot of these new shooters or new gun owners are buying a new gun with, an optic on it, never learn to shoot with irons, and they better pray to God that the battery never dies or the lens doesn't crack, because they'd really be in the problem. I'll get right to you with that, Chris. You know what, Ted? I agree. I was not a fan of a polymer frame striker fire gun, but I own a lot of them, and I don't regret them. I carry them, and there's nothing wrong with them. I mean, they've improved a lot over the years. Chris, to answer your question, when I carry inside the waistband, I normally only appendix carry. I find it very comfortable. It allows you to conceal a larger firearm, and I carry with one in the chamber all the time. I still have both of my nuts. Even with carrying my SIG P320, I've never had a negligent discharge. And in my opinion, if you're going to carry without one in the chamber, that's kind of like putting on the seatbelt after you hit the tree. And Ozzy, welcome again. Ozzy, I believe you said last time you make custom holsters. And if you want, feel free to give a plug, man. Yeah, I agree, Tail Grease. I mean, I started out with, you got to remember, I'm old, right? So I've been shooting for 45 years. And the first guns that I learned to shoot on, when my daddy taught me to shoot, was a Smith & Wesson revolver 357 Magnum and a Colt government model 45 ACP. So I learned on hammer-fired guns. And I really wasn't big on polymer striker-fired guns, but then I bought a few Glocks and Springfields and Smith & Wessons and Savages, and you know what? There's nothing wrong with them. They work perfectly fine. But I buy them because, unfortunately, they only make them in hammer fire, in striker fired. Now, if Glock or Springfield or Smith & Wesson said, oh, guess what? We're coming out with this now as a hammer fired, I would absolutely always take hammer fired first. Even a bad hammer fired gun has got a better trigger than a striker fired gun. But it is what it is, right? I mean, if they don't make a hammer fired gun, you either buy the striker fired one or you don't buy it. And again, there's nothing wrong with striker fired polymer frame pistols. They've been out for 30 years. Glock has proved that they work and they're reliable. It's just a matter of what you're used to. Yes, Devin. Second Amendment is absolute. The Second Amendment does not say you can't use this or you can't own that. It's the right to keep and bear arms. So, yes, you should be able to own anything you want as a law-abiding citizen. And AB 222, yes, CZs are awesome guns. But again, a lot of the guns that I own are only available as striker fired. And Devin S., yes, the First Amendment should allow you to say anything you want. This is what the First Amendment is supposed to be. The freedom of free speech. It's the fucking liberals that tell you that you can't say this because it hurts feelings. You can't say that, blah, 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 blah. Because they keep attacking all of our rights. But you know what? The Second Amendment protects all the other rights. Yeah, I'm old enough too, Ted. I'm, I remember when I was a kid, you used to be able to go to Sears and they had guns out on the floor, long guns, and you used to be able to go to the local hardware store and buy 22 ammo without anything. Nice. Yeah, CZs are awesome guns. I got the CZ 45 ACP, and I got to tell you, I'll put that thing up against my Glock 21 any day. Chris, I'm going to answer your question about the AR-15. And I'm assuming you mean a rifle. So I prefer to have a 20-inch barrel on my AR. And I do like the 5.56 caliber. If you get a 223, you can't shoot 5.56 out of it. But if you get a 5.56, you can shoot 223 out of it. So now, if you're building an AR pistol, I would go with a 10.5-inch barrel. I built about 6 of them. One of them's a 300 blackout. But I built an AR pistol with a 7-inch barrel. Man, I got to tell you, that thing is a flamethrower. It's super loud and it's blinding. So I would get at least a 10-inch barrel. And I do like the 300 blackout. I don't know, Tail Grease. What it may be a CZP-10, maybe. That's the 45 ACP I have, and that's the one that's comparable to the Glock 21. I don't understand your question, Jay. Do a 7.5 300 black or 7.62. I don't. I'm sorry. I don't understand what you're asking. Brandon, I'm going to answer your question about the AR for your first. That's not expensive. I would go with the Ruger. ATI makes a good quality one, but I'd go with the Ruger if it were me. I would save up the extra money and go with the Ruger. You start getting cheaper ARs and you just have a lot of issues with them. When I go out and buy a firearm, I don't, cheap is never the first thing that enters my mind. Um, I have the Smith & Wesson M&P 15 Sport. I like that a lot. But, buy the best you can afford and save the money and buy something a little better. I agree with you, Tail Grease. But you know what? Another good option is to just build your own, right? I built 6 of them, and I didn't build them to save money. Now you can build an AR for $400, but I built an AR that cost well over $1,000. The great point about building your own AR is that you configure it exactly the way you want. You put your trigger in it, because no matter what AR you buy, it's just like a pistol, right? You're going to find something you don't like about it. I mean, I love my Smith & Wesson M&P Sport too, but, the one that I built, I bought the Palmetto State competition trigger that's got 3.5 pound pull, and I wish I had that in my Smith & Wesson. So just build your own, and then you can make it exactly what you want with the components you want. I do get my uppers from Bear Creek Arsenal. They're made in the USA, and they're only in North Carolina, and I haven't had any problems with them. Matter of fact, I bought some of them during, I think it was Black Friday, like $178, and that includes the Bolt Carrier Group. So I would definitely check that out. And again, to those who just joined, we do this live stream every Saturday at 12 noon Eastern till 1 o'clock. And we do it at Wednesday night, 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern. It is 20 minutes to 1, and we will be ending the stream at 1 o'clock. Those who just joined, please subscribe to our channel. We'd appreciate that. We are still growing, and the firearms that we review, we were able to purchase because of you guys watching our videos. So watch as many as you can. I got 750 of them out there. Like them, share them with your friends, comment on them. The more activity on the videos, the more videos get pushed out to people, more revenue we generate. Some of you guys also have supported us by purchasing super chat stickers, and we appreciate that as well. We are a small channel, and it's very difficult to survive and compete against the larger channels, but we're still here, and we are still growing. I'll have to check them out there, Ozzy. I'm always looking for good holsters. All right, and like I said, this chat is up to you guys. So you guys pick your own discussion. As long as it's firearms related, I'm okay with that. And again, arguments are even good. Sometimes they're great. A couple of weeks ago, we had great arguments, and they were respectful, and they weren't nasty. And as long as they're respectful, arguments are a good way of understanding multiple point of views. So that's a great one, Ozzy. I just have a bunch of stuff I received to review. I know I mentioned a while back that Mantis is coming out with a new dry fire training system called the Titan X, and it was delayed. And hello, Liz. Welcome to the live stream. Glad you could join us. And then Mantis had some, I guess, copyright issues, but they've resolved those. Then they sent a new Titan X out for me to review. And I'll be reviewing it this week. And I believe the go live for that will be November. But I can't tell you what it is, but I can tell you it is an awesome dry fire training system. And if you dry fire train, it will change the way you train forever. And I don't have a macro, so I can't answer that. And Liz, Taurus G3, GC3. I have a Taurus G3C, and I wasn't looking for it, but today I was at my local Rural King, and they had a Taurus GX2 in purple, which is my wife's favorite color. It was on sale for $230, and I bought it. So I'm really curious now to see how the GX2 fires. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the new Taurus GX2 that I just bought, and I'm going to test fire it in the backyard. And then I'm going to also compare it to the Taurus G3C. So if you want to keep an eye out for my videos and turn on your notifications, within the next week or so, I will have a comparison video between the Taurus GX2 and the G3C. Yep, purple is my wife's favorite color, and yeah, it was on sale for $230. I couldn't pass it up. I will do that, Liz. Keep an eye out, turn on notifications. Within the next week or two, not only will I do a review on the GX2, I'll also do a comparison between the GX2 and the G3C. John, trust me, you will love that Glock 20. That Glock 20 10 millimeter, hands down, is the best 10 millimeter pistol on the market. 10 millimeter is one of my favorite, and I own a lot of them, but there's nothing like the Glock 20. And you're welcome, Liz. Again, I bought it for my wife, and I should really have my wife do the review because we are getting more and more females that are subscribing to the channel. And I know a lot of the stuff out there is geared toward the guys, and that's why I'll be reviewing the GX2. Yes, you want good ammo for that 10 millimeter, of course you do. But I shoot buffalo boar out of my Glock 20. I also have the Glock 29 10 millimeter, and I have a Glock 30. So Brandon, watch my reviews. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, I've done a review on the Glock 20. I did a review on the Glock 30. I did a review on the Glock 29. So yes, Liz, that's another reason I bought the GX2 in purple, is because we do have more and more females that are joining, which is awesome. A lot of female gun owners out there, and they should be asking questions and acquiring knowledge just like everybody else. Yeah, and I agree, Ozzy. Underwood does have good 10 millimeter ammo. And Liz, believe it or not, purple is my favorite color as well. Um, I'm a Los Angeles Lakers fan. Their colors are purple and gold. Um, None of my guns are purple, except for the new Taurus GX2. But I do love the color purple, but the dark purple, not the lavender color, but dark purple, like a royal purple, like the Lakers. So, uh, the ammo I recommend for the 45, um, I I use Federal Punch for the 45. I just happen to like that. Um, yeah, well, you know what, John? I'm old. So back in the day, the great rivalries were the Lakers and the Celtics. So I have seen some of the guns with the bluing that has an oil spill finish to it. I've seen some of them. Uh yeah, my brother's a Celtics fan, so um, back in the 80s, um, we used to go to a place called the Crow's Nest in New Jersey, and we watched many of the Lakers Celtics playoffs. And I do not have a external halo, so can't answer you on that. Well, you know what, John? At least you picked a good team, right? I mean, Lakers and the Celtics were classic, and if it wasn't for Magic Johnson and Larry Bird, the NBA would have gone bankrupt. So um, they did a lot for the sport. So is 165 grain enough? What caliber are you talking about, Liz? And more important than the grain, Liz, is shot placement. Um, if you have good shot 9 millimeter, I'll be honest with you, 115 grain 9 millimeter is fine. I like the 147 grain, but it's all about shot placement. And if you have good shot placement, 115 grain and 147 grain are going to do an awesome job penetrating. Um, Again, 115 grain hollow point is more than adequate for defense. Um, I happen to like the 147 grain hollow point, but again, it's shot placement, and if you can't shoot, it doesn't really matter what caliber um, or how many grains it is. You would not want to be on the receiving end of a 9 millimeter using 115 grain hollow points. Trust me. And we got about 7 minutes left. And John, thank you again for helping me moderate. I know you've been real busy today. Yep, I was a fan also back then, Ozzy. That was way, way back in the day. But I'll be honest with you, I'm not a LeBron James fan. I have not watched the Lakers game uh, since LeBron James became a Laker. So um, I wouldn't even say I'm a Lakers fan anymore. I just stopped watching basketball altogether after that. You know, I saw that, John. I'm sorry, I saw that, Brandon, that Springfield just came out with a Hellcat in 380. Um, I know a lot of people like the 380, but honestly, I'm not seeing it. Um, there's not that much difference in recoil between the 380 and the 9 millimeter. I just don't see why you would want it. I get that some people like the 380s and keep it in their pocket, but you know, the Hellcat Pro in 9 millimeter conceals extremely well. I carry that at work. Nobody even knows I have it on me. 380 ammo is expensive. I'm just not seeing it, but good luck with that Kimber there, Joe Sheets. Yes, Liz. Springfield just released a week or two ago the Hellcat Pro in 380. It's brand new. It just came out. I saw that in my shooting times that I get from the NRA. Same exact gun as the 9 millimeter, only chambered in 380. So, I don't know, Liz. Really, hey, Randall P. Hello, brother. You joined us late. We're ending in about 5 minutes. But anyway, Liz, I really don't see the attraction of a 380. My wife had a Smith & Wesson Shield EZ. She had it in 380. Then she got it in 9 millimeter. The guns were almost the same exact size. Not much difference in recoil. The 380 ammo was expensive, so she got rid of the 380 and kept the 9. If you don't own a Hellcat, Liz, I seriously would urge you to consider the Hellcat in 9 millimeter. Yeah, you sorry you missed that, John, Randall. We had a whole lengthy conversation in the beginning of the stream about that. So, yes, I made everyone aware that effective January 1st, 2026, you will no longer be allowed to purchase Glocks or Glock clones in California. But Liz, seriously, look at the Hellcat. Go to a gun range. Maybe you can shoot them both. I don't know about that, John. I've never actually replayed my streams before. And Roger, that's subjective. I'm not sure that it's a question of one better than the other. I asked her to look at the 9 millimeter Hellcat because she likes the Hellcat. The SIG P365 is a nice gun, but again, it's all up to what you feel comfortable with. For me, for personal defense, I wouldn't go with anything less than 9 millimeter. But a lot of people like 380s, and if that works for them, good for them. It is all about shot placement. You know what, Ted? I still have my SIG P320s. I still appendix carry them. I still have never had a negligent discharge. So, I still think that most of the SIG discharges are negligent discharges from people holstering and unholstering their gun. And Liz, if you use 9 as your main gun, then you really want to look at the Hellcat Pro in 9 millimeter. When I got my Hellcat, it only came with 15-round magazines. Now they come with 17. So, and I'm glad you could do the Wednesday streams, John. And 8 o'clock is a better time. Jabba to 809. I own the SIG P320 in 9mm. I own the SIG P320 in 45. And I own the SIG P320 X10 in 10mm. And I love my SIGs. They've never shot anybody. They've never accidentally went off. Again, you know, these negligent discharges, most of them are cops. And in my opinion, they're the worst people with firearms. As an NRA instructor, they're the worst shooters I've ever seen. And yes, Liz, I've done reviews, so you may want to search my videos. I've done reviews on the Hellcat Pro. But again, back to the SIG, you know, unless you're Alec Baldwin, guns don't just go off. Now, I'm not saying if you drop a SIG, it may not go off, but having it just go off by itself while it's in your holster, I'm not buying that. And I don't even know how Alec Baldwin got away with that shit. He was shooting a single action revolver, right, that he claims just went off. And the only way it's mechanically possible for a single action revolver to go off is you have to intentionally pull the hammer back and then pull the trigger. So he had to do both. AB222 Hellcat Pro. That's what I'm saying. Hellcat Pro. You know what, Brandon? You have to blame him. You know what? The woman, the armorer is responsible, but not for nothing. The first rule of gun safety is treat every gun as if it's loaded. He didn't do that. And I'm sorry. I'm not buying the fact that, you know, he's an actor. He doesn't know anything about guns. He should never have pulled the hammer back and pulled the trigger. Ignorance doesn't get you through that. The armorer should share responsibility, but, you know, he knew he pulled the hammer back. He knew he pulled the trigger, and he denied doing both. So he should be in jail too. Obviously, you don't know what you're talking about, what we're talking about, Clark. We're talking about the Alec Baldwin incident where he said the gun just went off. So again, no, the gun didn't kill people. Alec Baldwin killed people. He had a single action revolver, and the only way it can mechanically fire is to manually cock the trigger and then pull the trigger. And he did both. So yes, that was an example of people killing people. That gun didn't kill people because the gun didn't cock itself and pull the trigger. Alec Baldwin did, but he got off. And the poor girl, as the armorer, who should bear responsibility, but shouldn't have been the only one charged. So anyway, it is 1 o'clock. We are going to end the stream now. Thank you all for joining. This was a great day. Had a lot of great conversations. And we will do this every week. And again, big thank you out to John for helping me out here because, again, we get more and more children every week, but I guess that's a good thing. The bigger the channel get. Liz, we're in Eastern time zone. So we do this live stream every noon Eastern till 1 o'clock p.m. And we do this live stream every Wednesday at 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern. So again, thanks to my moderators. I know you guys are busy. Thanks, Ted. Thanks, John. But you know what? The more idiots we get, the more people we get. Right? I mean, it's a double-edged sword. The bigger the channel gets, the more morons we're going to get. But that's okay. We have great moderators, and we're doing a good job weeding them out. So thank you all. Again, if you haven't done so, please subscribe to the channel. Turn on your notifications, Liz, so that you can catch our videos. Hope you guys all have a great weekend, a blessed day. Thanks for watching.